The next point is that we need to be aware of the need or the importance of working the fine motor skills, not only in the aiming, as we saw with the drop shots, but also within our body movements, the small steps, letting our body or allowing our body or teaching our body to be able to adjust itself with the small steps in relation to the ball. It's an area that's not worked very often, and the best way to work it is through the fine motor skills. Working in a small space, hitting the ball softly, and it can be any of the shots, it can be drop shots, it can be volleys, but in a very simple context with very small movements so that the body makes small adjustments according to the way the ball is and the position of the ball. And that is developing our body's ability to organize itself. It's not the small movement itself, it's the fact that it's organizing according to the information it's receiving. And understanding change. We all want to improve, and the desire to improve sometimes is not the reality of us as players or us as coaches. With Jevolution, I prefer not to put preconceived objectives on individuals or even on myself, and see how each person evolves and changes, because each person can and does it in their own unique way, and they have their own learning process, and the objective is that we create that space so that each person can evolve and learn in our own time, in our own way. I've been constantly surprised at people's ability to change and to evolve. Part of it is because they don't have a preconceived idea about where they're going so much, and they're trying to do the primary movements and to change, and then these improvements start appearing that are constantly surprising us. If we're helping others, we have to remember that we have our own learning process. And I've seen coaches of all levels not being able to make specific movements, having to learn new movements, hit different balls, and we need to be testing ourselves and looking to evolve, to do different types of shots, because our objective isn't our own shot. Our objective is to be able to put the ball in a space, in a condition that is suitable for the person we're working with. And as everyone's different, I know that I'm constantly being challenged or surprised at the way I'm being taken to new situations and new opportunities to do things that I hadn't done before. An important part of the Jevolution process and of learning is understanding the process of integrating new habits that we're training and we can see are getting better in our training routines and situations, to be aware that it's not automatic that they appear in the matches with the same speed that they're appearing in our training sessions. It's often quite difficult to bring them from the training situation into the match situation. We have very deep-rooted habits that have come from our experiences of playing matches, and these habits, I have the impression, are quite strong because of the intensity that we live our matches. It's a higher intensity than we do with our training sessions or even our practice games. So that also conditions the way we work in matches, so it's much more common to fall back into our old match habits. So when we're training and we've got specific movements or shots that are starting to feel a little better, then we have to look for opportunities to practice them, to play them in a match, and then to force ourselves a little bit to let our body go and to experiment with those movements that are appearing and we are able to do them in training situations, to experiment with them in match situations. And that sometimes it creates fear or insecurity because the sensation is, I'm not sure if it's going to work, I'm under pressure. And so that requires a conscious effort to recognize the situation and to recognize it's an opportunity to try in a match situation those shots that are starting to work better or we're feeling more comfortable with in the training situations. Within this idea of bringing these new and improved movements or habits into our match situation, there's a relatively accepted belief that, I'll do all my training and then my muscle memory will automatically bring what I'm practicing into the matches. I'm not so sure about that. I think we need to make a conscious effort to bring those new movements into our game. If we wait for our muscle memory to work, maybe it will work. It's the moment for us to take responsibility and look for opportunities to bring those new sensations or those better movements into our match situations. Then the condition games. The condition games are a key tool for improving and learning. I use them now in every session for myself and for the players that I'm coaching. At the beginning they appeared to be just a little bit of a fun way to fill in time, but now with the experience we have, we're seeing that done properly, they are a key part of learning, and especially for younger people. But we're seeing as well, for us older people, the conditioned games are extremely useful in small doses and with variations, okay? So don't think, oh, conditioned games work and let's fill up our time with conditioned games. They are part of the picture. To finish with, I want to mention or talk a little bit about our body's organisational process. The idea of the organisational process of our body didn't exist in me 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And working individually, the different ideas within the Jevolution concept, the idea of understanding how our bodies organise themselves is evolving constantly, and we're seeing surprising changes as this idea develops and we're working with more people on the squash court. Each movement is part of an organisational process, and so with squash our organisational processes are generally extremely complicated. So understanding that it's not one movement we're looking for, but it's a process, and then understanding when we should start it and when it finishes is something that we're developing and working with constantly. So in the future we'll be sharing more information about this concept or this idea with you. So that's the end of our first Jevolution course. It's not the end of Jevolution because we're growing and evolving constantly, and I already have ideas and plans for the next course with a lot of material already prepared. I really hope you've enjoyed following the course, and more importantly I hope you've been able to put some of what we've talked about into practice, and I hope your squash is starting to improve or evolve. I can honestly say that my own squash is actually getting better, and my own body movements are getting better through the Jevolution process. And so I hope that you also will benefit from it and look forward to and hearing about your experiences. Your experiences are part of our learning process. Your trials and tribulations are also part of our learning process. So feel free to come online to our group meetings, send your questions in before the meeting so that we can look at them and have clear and concise replies prepared for you when we meet online. Thank you very much and look forward to seeing you all soon.